/AskReddit by Reddit. What is the craziest encounter of rich kid syndrome that you have experienced? My friend is a commercial pilot and works for a large company that has a flight department consisting of several jets and turboprop airplanes. The owner's kids and a group of their friends were granted permission to take one of the jets from the central part of the US to the Bahamas. Upon arriving in the Bahamas, they were meeting other friends and getting on a very large yacht for a week. They realized the yacht was equipped with fine dining food, not the type of food they liked. Junk food. They ordered the pilots to fly back through US customs and to their hometown in the Midwest. Once there, they had to pick up multiple sides of BBQ ribs, burgers, hot dogs, soda, beer and piles of other junk food and fly back to the Bahamas and do so within a time frame that still allowed them to leave with the yacht on time. It costs roughly $5,000 an hour to operate the jet they were using, and it never even struck the owners as something extreme. Edit. Due to the popularity of this post, I called and got clarification on several points that have been repeatedly questioned. The BBQ, ribs, pulled pork and sauce was the main purpose for the return trip to the Midwest. If you're from the Midwest or a southern BBQ city, you know what I'm talking about. They don't have this in FL. Period. The other junk food was add-on requests from other guests. The plane owner's son had promised, in the months prior, to bring some of the BBQ he had told his other friends, who he was meeting in the Bahamas, about repeatedly throughout college. He forgot and was catching hell for it. In an act of boldness, he sent the plane back for it. This is the most extreme example of how thesis planes are used and wealth flaunted within this company. That's with the understanding that wife shopping trips, sending a plane back to pick up a kid after school to come to FL, ball games, hunting and fishing trips and to dine in a restaurant 3,000 miles away is commonplace. On occasion, these planes and pilots have been used as angel flights to transport ill children and family throughout the country for medical procedures. The pilots for this company aren't paid the best, but are permitted to bring family, spouses mostly, to destinations as space and work schedule dictates. Some senior pilots can stay at company-owned property nationwide if available. Twins in high school. Birthday, I think it was 17. They get matching pickup trucks. Like the sucked up larger than life cool as fuck looking black ones. Twin A is the brat and smashes his in some remarkable time frame. I want to say same day. It was crazy though. Parents decide not to get him another one, though I'm sure insurance probably covered it, even if it was his fault. But regardless, he is going to learn a lesson. The lesson? Take Twin B's truck. He's the responsible one, and crash it on purpose. If he can't have one, neither can his brother. So much recklessness, spite, and downright illegal in what he did. Follow up. Not sure if he went to prison/etc. I do know he wasn't at school the next year, but he very well could have just dropped out. He was pretty sketchy. Twin B was actually a really good guy, but as soon as his brother was gone, he became very quiet. He did eventually get some sort of car, but I remember it was much more toned down to the point I can't remember what it even looked like, but he got something. There weren't many other rich kids at the school, so this whole story stuck out as a huge event when it happened. Humble rich kid. I was at a club at my college town and my roommate's new friend who drove a Raptor was at the bar. I started shooting shit and we were getting along, so I offered to buy a Y-bomb, vodka Red Bull shot. Being as wealthy as he is, he said, "You don't have to do that, man, save your money. Round will be on me." I explained to him it didn't bother, I was having a good time, and insisted I buy the shot. Immediately after that, he pulls out a black Amex and purchases the nicest VIP booth in the club, around $3K. Then ask what drink packages they have, and ask if he could buy 2 bottles on top of maximum package. Looks at me and goes tit for tat. Safe to say I don't recall much after that. A long time ago, I was dating a rich girl. Not insane rich, but rich enough. Well, I'm from Norway and we have a recycling system for plastic bottles. You get like 10 cents per bottle. Her family had a literal mountain of empty bottles and crates in their warehouse. They had a warehouse. I asked her dad, "What are you gonna do with these?" For which he replied something like, "Oh, those are from our employee staff parties from a couple years back. I just haven't had the time to get rid of them." Logically, I told him, that I'd recycle them for a percentage. He said keep it all, guy. So I did. I had to do multiple trips to several different stores, but it ended up being like $1,300 bucks, which was insane money for me at the time. I bought a guitar for the money. I realize now it's not a crazy story, but for me, it was insane to earn that much money for 4 to 5 hours of work, because her family couldn't be asked to do it. Edit. Some of you want to know what guitar I got, and it was a Square Jackmaster. I know. Luckily I spent the rest on rent and weed. I was 20 or 21, so there you go. I was a catch. Sitting in a group discussion in college and having one kid whine that his parents were so disadvantaged that they only brought home $500K a year 20 years ago. I sat there and kept quiet because my family only had $30K a year. I was only there because of scholarships and financial aid. The worst thing is all of the sympathy this kid got from the other people in the class. The school was so proud of their racial diversity, but 95% of the students came from families in the top 1% of income. I understand why you kept quiet, but the lack of knowledge of how most people live is precisely what reinforces these people's fantasy land. Funny short story. My ex-wife used to drive a 1998 Honda Accord. She treated it like shit, and so one day I got into it to drive somewhere, and I noticed that it was falling apart. I had two options, junkyard or sell it, and so I put it on Craigslist for $250. I thought it could go to a low-income family that had someone with some know-how who could semi-restore it, but when I meet the buyer he was not who I expected. He pulled up in a brand new Escalade and told me that his son was spoiled. His son had crashed a BMW, Mercedes, and an Audi, and so he was done buying him nice cars. Turns out, this guy purchased my car as a way of torturing his son. Edit. Hot damn. I even got Bridezilla as a result of selling that car. Thank you for the coin, stranger. Second edit. Of course this edit is to give a shout out to whoever gave me gold. Thank you. 3.5 years on Reddit and 47K in karma later, and I got my first gold. Cheers. My parents bought me a laptop for my 18th birthday. It was absolutely unheard of in my family to receive gifts as expensive or technological. I cried when my mom handed me it. I was meant to be moving away for university and both my mom and dad had saved up 6 months' wage between them to afford it for me. We all hugged and cried, and it was extremely meaningful and emotional. I went off to university. I was in the dorms one night when my dorm mate, who was a rich white boy from Long Island, brings back like 2 drunk girls and another friend. They start drinking and rolling up weed in the dorm, which I was fine with. It was university, etc. I go to the bathroom down the hall, and when I get back, one of the drunk girls has opened my laptop and is trying to log in. I approach her and I'm like, hey, that's my laptop, not Robert's. I don't mind you using it I guess, but let me just log you into the guest account. She goes to move the laptop off her lap toward me and knocks an open bottle of wine onto it, the entire laptop being flooded with wine. She goes, oh, sorry, and I'm like, what the duck, dude, get a ducking towel, put it upside down. I'm freaking the fuck out. I can't believe it's happening. My roommate starts telling me to chill the duck out and asks, can't you just get a new one, dude? I start patting down the laptop and I ask them, please, if it doesn't work, can you help me replace it? I need it for my classes, etc. They start laughing at me, saying, why can't your parents get a new one for you? It took 2 weeks of demanding them to buy me a new one before they reluctantly did, as I had to explain to the dorm manager my situation of my family being extremely poor and it being unbelievable that they were even able to get me into university, let alone a new laptop. Luckily he was sympathetic as duck and helped me arrange for a replacement. But man, that moment of can't you just get a new one made my ducking heart blow up. It was more painful than the laptop getting damaged itself. I looked at him and wanted to ducking kill him. I'd never experienced rich kid syndrome as succinctly before or since. I hated that ducking guy. My ex-best friend. I remember that when we were 14, She lost her Pandora bracelet, which was full of charms, at school, for a total of 500 euros. So she called her mum and was like, "Mum, I need a new Pandora bracelet." And the mum just answered, "Okay, sweetie, we'll go buy one this afternoon, alright." And then she hung up. This happened twice a year, for 3 years. I don't talk to her much anymore, so I don't know if she has lost any more bracelets or not. I wouldn't even want to know, tbh. I feel like I could choke. Oh, she also broke something like every phone she ever bought after only a year. And they weren't cheap ones either. I mean, come on. You should treasure the things your parents buy for you. My family doesn't exactly have a lot of money, so maybe I'm too touchy on this subject, but still. Usually, when my parents buy me a phone, I keep it for 3 years or more, because it's an expensive item. I'd feel too bad if I ever were to break one. Don't know what it's like to lose a Pandora bracelet though. I don't think my parents could afford one. Edit. Oh gosh, this is the most upvotes I've ever gotten. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.